Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are looking at a stack of sources that, well, I have to be honest, they read less like a spiritual reflection and more like, I don't know, a script for a satire on corporate management,
Right.
except it's not corporate.
And it's definitely not satire. It is visceral.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect case study for what we like to do here, which is, analyze rhetoric.
Exactly.
We're looking at a specific moment where the language of spiritual authority gets hijacked by the language of cold, hard cash.
And we are focusing on a scenario with a figure who the source calls the priest. And we're going to stick to that title because it's pretty central to the whole argument he makes. He's addressing a very specific demographic in the congregation, which is the singles.
Which is already an interesting dynamic to single out.
Right. I mean, usually when you hear about a message targeted at singles, you kind of have a mental bingo card ready.
Oh, yeah.
You expect talk about patience, maybe preparation for marriage, finding contentment, that sort of thing.
The standard wait and pray curriculum.
Exactly. But our source material today describes something that just flips the table on all of that. We're not talking about spiritual poverty.
Well,
We're not talking about charity. We are looking at a direct, unqualified command to get rich.
and not get rich in some, metaphorical sense of spiritual abundance. We are talking literal financial accumulation. And what makes this deep dive so fascinating and a little disturbing is tracing how he constructs this argument.
It's like he builds a logical trap for his audience.
He does.
So here's the mission. We're going to unpack this whole account. We need to look at the power dynamics, the operational changes he demands for church funds, and then this get-rich mandate.
And the rebuttal. We can't forget the rebuttal from the source, which brings up this theological concept called the royal priesthood.
Yes, that concept is the key to the whole thing.
It's the counterweight. But before we get there, we have to endure the weight of the demand itself.
Okay, let's set the scene. The source puts us right in the room. The priest is on the mic. He turns his attention to the singles. And before he tells them what they should be doing, he tells them what they need to stop doing. Immediately.
He creates a hard boundary.
Mm-hmm.
He tells them, effectively, stop looking for benevolence from the church.
Stop looking for benevolence. Now, for anyone who maybe didn't grow up in a church environment, we should probably clarify what that means. Operationally,
Yeah.
is this just a fancy way of saying don't ask for favors?
It's so much more significant than that. Operationally, benevolence is the safety net.
Okay.
Historically, in, the Judeo-Christian tradition and many other faiths, the religious community is the social security system. It's the designated fund for the widow, the orphan, the person who lost their job.
So it's the emergency fund. It's the structural expression of we take care of our own.
Precisely. It is the financial proof of community care.
Yeah.
So when a leader stands up and tells a specific group, in this case the singles, stop looking for benevolence, he is unilaterally severing that social contract.
Wow.
He's saying the safety net no longer applies to you.
That's a massive shift in status. You're moving them from being family members who are supported to something else entirely.
Yeah.
It feels like an eviction notice, spiritually speaking.
It isolates them. It tells them their vulnerability is no longer the institution's problem.
Yeah.
And that isolation is necessary to set up his next command.
Because if you can't rely on the church,
What's your only option?
you have to fend for yourself. Which leads us to the phrase that was written in all caps in our source notes. He tells them, get rich.
Not find a stable job.
Bro.
Not pay off your debts.
No.
Get rich.
It's just so blunt. I'm trying to wrap my head around the intent. Usually religious rhetoric about money is all about stewardship, right?
Stewardship or sufficiency. Those are the traditional pillars. Stewardship implies you're managing resources for a higher purpose. Sufficiency is having enough to live and to give.
But get rich is different.
It is. That is about accumulation. It's about status.
And think about the demographic again. Singles. Statistically, these might be younger people on a single income, just trying to get their footing in the world.
And that's what makes the command so aggressive.
Yeah.
He's looking at a group that is likely financially vulnerable, especially if they were the ones asking for benevolence.
Good point.
And he's framing their lack of wealth as a failure to be fixed. It implies that if they aren't rich, they are somehow, defective.
But hold on, I want to play devil's advocate for a second. Could you argue this is just tough love? Like maybe he's trying to empower them. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Stop depending on us. Go crush it. Is there a charitable interpretation here?
If the sentence ended at get rich,
Yeah.
You might be able to make that argument. You could say it's a very aggressive form of motivational speaking,
Okay.
but the source material doesn't end there. The priest gives a reason why they need to get rich. So that, and this is where the whole tough love theory just falls apart completely.
Yeah.
He doesn't say, get rich so you can support your future family. He doesn't say, get rich so you can help the poor.
No. The source says the instruction is, so you can take me to lunch.
To take him to lunch, him and his wife.
You know, when I first read that in the notes, I actually laughed. It sounds so petty.
It does.
Go make millions so you can buy me a burger. But the more I look at it, the more calculated it seems.
It is calculated, and we have to look at the delivery described in the source. This wasn't a warm invitation. It wasn't, hey, once you guys get on your feet, let's celebrate with a meal.
No, the source notes a strong emphasis on a specific phrase he adds to the invite.
And you're paying.
And you're paying.
Think about the power dynamic of a meal. In almost every culture, sharing a meal is a sign of equality. We sit at the same table, we break bread,
That's level playing field.
but by explicitly demanding you pay, he destroys that equality.
He reestablishes the hierarchy.
Exactly. He turns it into a transaction. I am the consumer. You are the provider. It's an assertion of dominance.
He is effectively saying, my time and my presence are commodities, and you need to earn enough money to afford them.
That is a very apt comparison. In a tribute system, resources flow up, from the peasant to the lord.
From the pew to the pulpit.
And there's no reciprocity. He isn't offering to buy them lunch to mentor them. He is demanding they subsidize his leisure time.
So naturally, the question is, how does he get away with this? If I walked into a room and demanded everyone go get rich so they could buy me steaks, they'd laugh me out of the room.
Of course.
He has to have a justification. What's the logic he's using?
The source is crystal clear on this, and it's fascinatingly circular. The justification he gives is, because I am a priest.
Because I am a priest, that's it.
That's the whole argument.
The title is the argument.
It's a textbook argument from authority. He is claiming that the office of priest carries an inherent right to be served. I hold this office, therefore I am entitled to your financial tribute in the form of lunch.
It creates a hierarchy of worth. He is the priest, a special class of spiritual being. They are the laity, the singles, the commoners.
And the distinction in title is the sole basis for the economic demand.
It reminds me of that line, when you're a star, they let you do it. It's the idea that status grants permission to be exploitative.
And that works on people because we're conditioned to respect titles. We're conditioned to think that the person on the stage has something we don't. He is banking on the audience feeling inferior.
He needs them to feel less than so they'll feel honored just to pay the bill.
It's a confidence game. He's selling access to himself.
Precisely. But this is where the source text stops just reporting and starts fighting back. Because the observer who wrote this didn't just accept the priest's logic.
You know, they brought in a rebuttal.
The theological clash.
Right. The source critiques this behavior by citing a specific concept, the royal priesthood.
I want to spend a minute here because this term sounds very fancy, but I think it's crucial to understanding why the observer was so offended. What does royal priesthood actually mean in this context?
So without getting too bogged down in centuries of theology, the core idea is a radical democratization of spiritual status.
Right.
In older, more rigid religious systems, the priest was the gatekeeper, the bridge between the people and the divine. If you wanted to talk to God, you went through the priest.
Right, like a special security clearance that nobody else had.
Exactly. But the concept of the royal priesthood, which is pulled from the very scriptures this priest claims to represent, argues that all believers hold that status.
Everyone. The broke singles, the people who were just told not to ask for benevolence.
Everyone. The idea is that in the eyes of the divine, they all have the status of priest and royalty. They all have that same security clearance.
So if everyone is a royal priest,
then his specific claim to special treatment just evaporates.
that is the conflict. You have the speaker on stage using the title priest to say, I am up here, you are down there, feed me. And the source is looking at the rule book and saying, actually, the text says we are all peers.
It flattens the hierarchy. If I'm a royal priest and you're a royal priest, why on earth am I buying you lunch simply because you're holding the microphone?
The title priest is no longer a justification for tribute, it's just a job description.
And it exposes the demand as a fabrication. He's using a title to enforce a class system that the religion itself, according to the source, supposedly abolished.
It's a huge disconnect, a betrayal of the text he's supposed to be teaching.
Yeah, he's trying to build a vertical relationship,
Yeah.
him above, them below, while the royal priesthood argues for a horizontal one.
It's funny because if he actually taught the royal priesthood concept, he'd lose his free lunches.
He would.
Yeah.
Empowering the audience is bad for his business model.
Right.
If they realize they are his equals, they stop paying tribute.
Speaking of business models, there is one more piece of evidence in the source that we haven't touched on yet. And honestly, when I read this part, the whole picture just clicked into place for me.
The commercial context.
The commercial context. Because the sermon didn't start with "get rich," the source mentions something that happened earlier in that same service.
Before the lunch demand.
Before any of it.
He told them to buy his book.
Buy the book.
When you layer that in, the pattern becomes undeniable. It's not just a collection of random statements.
It's a funnel.
It is a funnel. Let's walk through that sequence.
Okay.
Step 1, buy my book. That's immediate direct revenue from the congregation to the speaker.
Simple enough.
Step 2, stop looking for benevolence.
Hmm.
That stops the church organization from losing revenue to the congregants. It seals the leak.
Got it.
Step 3, get rich. This is the setup. He needs to increase the audience's capacity to generate revenue.
And step 4.
Step 4, buy me lunch. This is the upsell. Direct lifestyle subsidy.
It's literally a sales funnel. He's moving them from a low-ticket item, the book, to a high-ticket item, the recurring expense of lunches.
It operates exactly like a customer value optimization strategy.
Right.
And the get rich mandate takes on a much darker tone in this light.
Yeah.
He doesn't want them to get rich so they can be free or generous. He wants them to get rich so they can be better customers.
They are being groomed as patrons.
Exactly. It reframes the singles not as a flock to be tended, but as a resource to be harvested.
That is, well, the source uses the word jarring, and I think that's an understatement. It's predatory.
It flips the role of leadership entirely. A shepherd feeds the sheep. A shepherd protects the sheep from wolves. This dynamic is, well, it's the shepherd eating the sheep.
Or at least sharing them very, very aggressively.
Metaphorically, yes.
And it really highlights why we do these deep dives. Because if you were just sitting in that crowd, maybe you wouldn't connect the dots.
Right.
You hear buy the book, you think, okay, support the leader. You hear get rich, you think, yeah, I want to be successful. You hear buy me lunch, and you think, wow, I'd love to have lunch with him.
It can be very charismatic in the moment. I'm challenging you to step up. It plays on our desire for approval. We want the leader to like us. We want to be part of the inner circle who can afford the steak lunch.
It feels like an opportunity, not a tax.
That's the psychological hook. The lunch isn't just food, it's access. Pay for my time and you get to be near me. It monetizes the relationship.
But the source reminds us to pull back and look at the foundation. The royal priesthood argument essentially says, you don't need to buy access. You don't need to pay for proximity. You already have the status.
You are already royalty. You don't need to buy a burger for a guy to prove your worth.
It's such a powerful rebuttal because it takes the scripture out of the hands of the manipulator and gives it back to the audience.
And that's why literacy matters. That's why understanding the source material matters. Knowing what the text actually says is the best defense against someone abusing it to empty your wallet.
It really makes you wonder how many people in that room felt that check in their spirit, that wait a minute feeling.
And how many just got out their credit cards?
Yeah.
It's a testament to the power of authority figures. When someone speaks with absolute confidence, it can override our critical thinking. We assume they must be right because they're in charge.
But as we've seen, being in charge can sometimes just mean being the one who demands the most.
Right. And true authority, at least in the context of the text this priest claims to follow, is supposed to be about service.
The servant leader model.
This is the inverted version of that.
So let's try to synthesize this for everyone listening. We have a clear example of authority being leveraged for financial gain. We have a redefinition of the singles demographic from people to be served into people who must pay.
And we have a clear theological contradiction between a priest who demands tribute and a royal priesthood that implies equality.
And hanging over all of it is that commercial funnel: book, no benevolence, get rich, lunch.
It's a closed loop where the speaker wins every time.
It leaves us with a lot to think about regarding leadership, not just in religious settings, but anywhere. Corporate, political, social. When a leader asks for more than they give.
when the flow of resources is strictly one way.
It's time to ask questions.
It's time to check the source code. It's time to look at the bylaws, so to speak, and see if they actually have the right to demand that.
I want to leave you with a thought today that stems from that tension in the text. It's something for you to mull over. If the source is right, if this concept of royal priesthood or inherent worth is valid and everyone has that direct access and dignity, what does that do to our modern celebrity culture?
Oh, that's a big one to end on.
Think about it. If we are all royal, if we all have that inherent status, why are we so desperate to pay for the approval of people on stages? Why do we feel the need to buy them lunch or buy their merch or subscribe to their exclusive tier just to feel like we matter?
Maybe it's because we haven't accepted our own value yet. We're looking for someone else to validate us, even if it costs us a fortune.
That is something to chew on, preferably over a lunch that you enjoy and that you pay for only if you want to.
And keep your wallet in your pocket until you're sure.
Great breaking this down with me.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.